Week 3 of the NFL season is here, and you're watching the 4 Ps, parlays, player props, and predictions. 2 props, 2 parlays I love in this video. If you already knew, my name's Austin from Calling Our Shot. We do a bunch of other NFL videos, so do me a favor, make sure you don't miss out on those. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you want to drop your favorite plays in the comments, you can do that. First, we need to recap how we did on Thursday Night Football. Not a great start to our season and not a great start to the week, a 1-2 day. Day 3 of the ladder challenge did cash. As always, I recommend playing those ladders for 1 unit in addition to the $10 that we're rolling over and having some fun with. We're up to $40, right? And we'll have a day 4 posted later on today. So stay tuned for that. Day 4 now we're up to $80, but you get what I mean. Other picks, Garrett Wilson's over in receptions. He ended with 5 and 9 targets, so I had the volume. And then Jacoby Brissett's rush yards was a donation. Of course, he gets benched. And what happened? Drake May instantly gets the over in rush yards. You hate to see it. This season, we've sucked on overs. I'll be honest with you. 5 and 18 on over picks. Terrible. I only know that because we're 5-0 on unders, so more unders are on the way. In this video, I don't have any, but in the video dropping at 6 p.m. on Saturday night, I have 3 unders I love, and we're going to try to move to 8-0 on unders this season. If you only like unders, I wait for that video to drop at 6 p.m. 3 I love for this weekend. Today I got a couple overs for y'all. Before we dive into it, I want to talk about Bet365. They have a great offer right now. If you bet $5, you can get $200 in bonus bets. Bet365 available in a ton more states than it used to be. Pennsylvania now as well. Sign up with the top link in description. Place a $5 money line bet or $5 bet on anything. It doesn't even have to be money line. Get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Take advantage of that. Details down below. Also down below, you'll see the link to our best bets video where we talk about games and totals and stuff like that. And like I said, we'll have another video posted Saturday evening with some unders. But you guys came here for some NFL picks. Let's dive into the first one. George Pickens. I love his over 44.5 receiving yards, -115 on BetMGM. Now, I don't really know where this line moves as the weekend goes on and as Sunday's kickoff comes around. FanDuel had this at 49.5. With the Justin Herbert news, maybe the books obviously are favoring the Steelers a little bit more here. So maybe Pickens' line goes down a little bit. But I love Pickens' matchup, and I think he has a big game on Sunday. Now, when we look at Pickens so far this season, obviously hasn't been the greatest start to his year. He had 80 yards in week 1 on 6 receptions, 7 targets against the Falcons. In week 2, 29 yards, 2 receptions, 4 targets against the Broncos. Now, if you watched last week, obviously not the greatest week for him. Still got 29 yards, whatever. He was shadowed by Pat Surtain, who's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. But he also kind of burnt Pat Surtain, but Pat Surtain got called for pass interference. There was plenty of penalties there. And I feel like you could have had George Pickens above 60, 70 yards against one of the tougher matchups. Well, it's a much better matchup on Sunday against the Chargers. Now, in week 1, we saw the Chargers give up to Jacoby Myers, Davante Adams, and Brock Bowers all had 58 or more receiving yards against them. Now, week 2, you'd be like, all right, well, their stats are much better. They faced Bryce Young. So, boom, I don't count it. Bryce Young's literally the worst QB in the world. There's a reason he got benched. And he can't even throw it more than like 3 yards down the field. Well, Justin Fields, sure, is he the best QB in the world? No, but he's actually looked pretty good under center. While they will run the ball a lot, Justin Fields, we know, what does he do? He hones in on one guy, and that's the main guy he throws to. Last year was DJ Moore. This year it's George Pickens. They don't have a lot of other wide receivers out there. And he's actually looked pretty good. He's had some deep balls called back via penalty, or he's had some ones where you just get DPI, defensive pass interference, and his guys don't even have a chance at catching it. But this season, the Chargers have run the 4th highest rate of too high coverage. And during that, Pickens ranked 2nd in separation, 8th in route win rate versus too high safeties. This is a coverage that he's done really well historically against, especially this season. The Chargers also have allowed the 3rd highest target share to your number 1 read, more likely your number 1 wide receiver. So they've allowed number 1 wide receivers to have pretty good games. I can't really count the Panthers game because they're terrible, but we saw Davante, we saw Jacoby Myers do their jobs. I think George Pickens does his job on Sunday. I really like his over in receiving yards. I consider laddering up to 75, but hard to do that with Justin Fields at QB. You know there's not going to be a ton of volume, but I do think they'll have to pass a little bit here. The Chargers have a pretty solid rush defense. They've been a top 10 unit the past 2 seasons. I think they're able to stop the run a little bit. Not like, hey, Najee Harris fade him, but I do think they stop the run a little bit. They force the Steelers to throw, and when they're throwing it, more often than not, it's going to George Pickens. I love his over in yards. My second one is going to be the guy that I believe I put on the thumbnail. It is CJ Stroud. I love his over 33.5 pass attempts, -120 on FanDuel. Now, if this goes up to 34.5, you can take it there. If you're just talking about schematically this game, I expect the Texans to have to throw a good amount. I'll talk about why. I don't mind his passing yards or his completions, but I think we could see maybe an inefficient game from Stroud, given how often Brian Flores, the Vikings defensive coordinator, likes to blitz. Maybe they blitz and CJ Stroud's trying to avoid a sack and just throws it out of bounds and is able to avoid the sack and move to the next down. Now, so far through 2 weeks, Stroud is 1-1 on the line. He had 32 pass attempts and then 36 pass attempts. So pretty close, pretty sharp on the line. Both of them saw his team win. What happens if his team is losing, which could happen? The Vikings have been a pretty formidable foe. We'll see him throw even more. Now, in week 1, the Texans ran the ball 40 times. As you know, Joe Mixon had 30 carries in that game. That's when Stroud ended with 32 pass attempts. In week 2, only 22 rush attempts. Joe Mixon went down, and in turn, we saw them throw it a little bit more. And that was a game where he only had 5 pass attempts in the fourth quarter. So obviously, it was a game against the Bears where they were dominating. Didn't necessarily blow them out, but it wasn't like they were really afraid of the Bears offense, so they didn't really throw it a ton down the line. Let's say they go on the road in Minnesota and they're trailing here. We know this Texans team is going to be pretty pass happy with CJ Stroud throwing. Minnesota this season has allowed the second most pass attempts in the NFL at 39 per game. We saw Daniel Jones at 42 and Brock Purdy at 36. You look at additionally, Minnesota, 8th fewest rush yards per attempt. They were the 3rd fewest last year. So this is a team that's now down Joe Mixon. I believe he's doubtful, if not ruled out. Damian Pierce is out. So it's going to be Cam Akers at the helm and Dare Ogunbowale, who's more of a pass-catching back. Cam Akers looked good in the preseason. I'll give him credit there, but it's been hard for him to stay healthy, and I can't imagine you want to give him a ton of workload here. I think this is a game they see Houston lean on the arm of CJ Stroud a little bit more. Could be a game where we see them trail too. The Vikings force them into 2nd and long if they run it. And I think that we'll see maybe an inefficient game from Stroud, which I do like for an over in pass attempts. So give me CJ Stroud over 33.5 pass attempts, my second play in the video. My third play, we're going to go to a 3-leg same game parlay. It's my biggest play of the weekend. 1.5 units on this 3-leg SGP. Now, if you look at it, you'll see David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, both 25 rush yards, and Sam Laporta, 25 receiving yards. This is the return of the Lions SGPs. Now, before the people go down there and be like, you're betting 1.5 units on a 3-leg SGP at minus 135, it's not even plus money. I'm here to make money. I don't care if it's minus 5,000 or if it's minus 135. I'm not going to bet minus 5,000, but you get my point. We're here to make money. And I don't see a way this loses. I'd honestly put more than 1 unit on it, 1.5 units. However, hasn't been the greatest start to the season. And there's a good chance 1 or 2 of these guys are in the ladder challenge on Sunday. So I'm not going to be willing to lose 3 units plus on this, considering one of them is probably in the ladder. But I do like all 3 of these matchups, and I honestly think this is sweat-free. Last week, if you tailed our SGP, it was at Panthers and Chargers 1. I wanted to put more than 1 unit on it. It was sweat-free. Cashed within like the first few minutes of the third quarter. I think this will be the case here. I'm not going to dive into a ton of stats. Gibbs and Montgomery get their workload. Both have 25 or more rush yards in each game this season. Both have 35 or more. I'm confident they get the workload, especially coming off a loss. Lean on the ground game. Lions are one of the best offensive lines in the league. Cardinals have been good stopping the run so far. They gave up a good amount of yards to James Cook in week 1. Last week, Kyren Williams didn't really do much, but they're also up 30 at halftime. So not going to expect much there. And the Rams had a lot of guys out. Really, the main thing I think this comes down to is Sam Laporta. And he's been the one that might give you pause. Like, can he get me 25 yards? He had 45 in week 1, only 13 in week 2. Not a huge workload, and it's kind of been due to the emergence of Jameson Williams. But we see Sam Laporta coming into this game. They've been talking about his targets. Offensive coordinators have been talking about, hey, we need to get him the ball more, a little bit more. This is a much better matchup for him against a team like the Cardinals that play a lot more man coverage, which is good for Laporta. Also, Amon-Ra St. Brown dealing with an injury. You've already seen Jameson Williams' big game, Amon-Ra's big game. This feels like a Sam Laporta big game. We don't even need a big game. We need 25 yards, something he did in nearly every game last season. Look, I'm not going to go too hard onto this one. I love these 3 legs. There's a reason I'm willing to lay 1.5 units at minus 135 on it. I would put more units on it, but there's a good chance David or Jahmyr finds their way in day 4 of the ladder challenge. I'd say Laporta, but tight ends are banned from ladder challenges. They're fine in same game parlays like this. Ladder challenges, cursed for tight ends, although Laporta is a free 25 on Sunday. I love that pick for 1.5 units. Finally, we wrap up the video talking about our moneyline parlay. Week 1, bang, we smacked it. Week 2, almost full faded. We were terrible last week. A lot of underdogs won. This week, we're smacking. Here's the 5-legger I'm rolling with. Buccaneers, Browns, Saints, 49ers, and Bengals. Plus 450 on DraftKings. There is a chance if we get the Monday night with the Bengals, we could hedge there with the Commanders. Not sure I probably would hedge, but Commanders ain't winning that game. The other one's Buccaneers taking on the Broncos. It is a letdown spot for the Bucs, but the Broncos are so bad. I don't think you can price Bo Nix and how bad he is. They'll be throwing blitzes at him. I think they might cover the Broncos, but I don't think they win. Browns against the Giants. Yeah, count me in. Saints might be the one question mark here as they will face the Eagles. I like the Eagles. I have them to win the division future. Just don't love the spot for him here without A.J. Brown. Can't stop the run either. Tough spot against the Saints. Wouldn't shock me. If that lost, not the worst thing in the world for our Eagles' future bet, but I do think that the Saints can win that one. 49ers taking on a banged-up Rams team. Rams might cover, but I think 49ers win that game. Then Bengals against Commanders. You can't go down 0-3, whatever. So I love those 5 legs, plus 450. Count me in. Again, those are going to be my favorite picks of the weekend. A reminder, we have our NFL Week 3 Best Bets video, which is already live. It is linked on the screen. Before you click on it, that's going to be our video where we talk about all the games, every single game on Sunday, give you our favorite spread, total, money line, whatever. We give you all that stuff. We like to do that. It's a longer video, but I encourage you to check it out. All those games are timestamped in case you only care about a couple games. Number 2, when our video is live, we're 3 unders, fade these players for week 3. That'll be linked on the screen as well. And number 4, when the ladder challenge is live, maybe number 3, I don't know what number I'm on. Ladder challenge when that's live, I'll link it on the screen. YouTube Shorts should be live Saturday evening, so probably is live by the time maybe you're watching this. And last one, if you want to sign up for Bet365, use our link down below. Bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets. All right, I'm done rambling. You guys have a wonderful Sunday. Good luck on your picks. Today, we went 3-0 in this video, and we're going 3-0 on our unders as well. You can check out that video posted at 6 p.m. on Saturday. You guys have a great day. Catch you in the next one. Peace.